Welcome, everybody, to another great episode of Real Life Matters. Of course, I'm your host, DBoss, and today we have a very interesting lady that's coming on today here for you guys. You have a little special treat, and it's going to be a lot of treat here. So she's a creator, a journalist, and a life coach. She's doing a lot of stuff, and she's up and she's moving around and she's doing things. And we're going to find out a lot about her and what she's doing. So I introduce to you Karen Abbott Trimuel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You?
I am so happy to be here.
All right, Kat. And that's what she calls herself, Kat. So just to shorten it down.
Yes.
So
yes.
So
and I got tired of saying the good Karen.
All right. So can you tell everybody where you come from, Kat?
I am in the suburbs of Chicago. I live in Lansing, Illinois. So I've been here all my life and happy to be a Chicagoan.
You're from Chi-Town or nothing like that? No.
Chi-Town, Windy City. Yes, I am.
Okay. So you're born and raised in Chicago.
Yes. Yes. Me and all my
yes.
family. Yes.
That's great, and it's great to have you on here. So we're going to have to dissect you down a little bit, Kat, because you got a lot of things going on and a lot of different things happening. So can you tell us about yourself as the creator?
Yes, I can. I was a single mother for a very long time before I married my husband at 36 years old, my husband Gammon. But before that, you know how stressful being a single parent can be. So as a hobby, what I would do when the kids would go to sleep was I would cut on some jazz music at night and I would write poetry. And at first it was just whatever I felt. That was my de-stressor. And the poetry turned into stories. Like I would have these characters in my head. Some people say that, are you sure you weren't schizophrenic or anything? No, they just stories playing out in my head. So I would have these characters.
Nice.
That wasn't nice, was it?
No.
They're eating their words now.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Right, okay. Right. So the characters will play out. So I began to write them out on paper. Again, that was a de-stressor. So as people began to read it, they were like, you have to put this on. You have to put this play on. It's amazing. It's going to touch a lot of lives. I had no idea. This was in 2002. I had no idea how to produce a play. So I went to a play and I saw some actors and I was like, hey, would you like to be in my play? So I'm recruiting actors, still don't know what I'm doing. I found out later I probably paid them more than any other play they had ever been in because I didn't know how the pay range was. Went to the bank to set up an account, found out about EIN numbers and all the great stuff you need if you want to get insurance, if you want to rent theaters. So everything was just a learning experience for me. So the first play that I launched was called Hear Our Cries, Lord. And I did the rehearsals in my 3-bedroom apartment. We rehearsed in my kitchen.
What?
And yes, in my kitchen. That
must have been crowded. Was the kitchen big or not really?
It wasn't really big. And I had neighbors. And they said if it wasn't for the great singing, they would have called the landlord on me, but they didn't. They didn't. And the first play was such a success and the feedback we got, and I actually sold out. I sold out and there was a snowstorm. So I didn't think people were going to show up, but they did.
Wow.
They did. And it was about a life. It was about the life of people, about all the things that were going on in the world. And people came back. One young man, I think what really made me keep it going was the testimonies. One young man said he had his son in high school and he had a disability. So he didn't want the child and his girlfriend didn't want the child. So his mother raised the child. And he said when he saw the play, he went to his mother's house that night and got his son.
Wow.
And that was profound. So it just inspired me to keep writing. So since that time, I've done several plays. And from those plays, I took one play, Ladies' Night Unmasked, and I turned it into a book
So
during
this
the
ladies'
COVID,
night,
during the pandemic.
I seen the cover. Yes, people, you will see the cover. The ladies' night unmasked. Like, what?
Yeah,
How did you come up with that? What's the concept and what's behind that title?
it's 5 great friends. Every woman, if when you see the cover, you'll realize that I did silhouettes because I want every woman to see herself and her friends in this story. I guarantee if you read this story, you're going to say, I'm one of these characters, or I know somebody that's just like these characters. I can honestly tell you, I'm in each one of those characters. A little part of me, I can relate
Well, that's why
to
they're
each one
calling
of
it
the characters.
schizophrenic. Then.
Yeah, but we women are versatile. We have different
Yes.
moods. We do a lot. We have to go through a lot, so we have to change, right? But it's about 5 friends that come together to have fun. But
Okay.
there's a question that is posed in the book that I want your audience to think about, because I'm going to pose this question now because you'll understand where the journey the women went on. And it was, how do you feel about your life today? Are you where you thought you would be? And are you happy or disappointed with the outcome? That is a profound question, which led me to the journey that I'm on now. And as the women begin to embark and answer that question, they reveal a lot of secrets. And this book takes so many twists and turns, and you're gonna not expect the ending, everything that happens. I wrote the play, it was a part 1. When the audience came out to see this play, I ended it at a certain point. People started writing me, please don't leave that cliffhanger. Please give us a part 2. So I did. The book has part 1 and part 2. So
Okay,
I'm
so
really proud of it.
there's 2 books to this unmasked, right?
It's right. So Ladies' Night Unmasked is one book with both parts in the book. But I do have
Ooh.
2 books. I have authored 2 books.
So
Yeah.
unmasking. So you're talking about there's 5 friends and they have 5 different personalities. I don't want to give away the whole thing of the book. People got to go read the book.
Right.
or
And
if
it's
they
on
don't already,
Amazon, Barnes
they
and
get
Noble. Yes.
and unmasking. So what do you mean? If they're unmasking themselves by the question you just said, are you happy with your life and it is now and how it turned out? Or
Yeah. So when you're unmasking, I think it's something, it also goes with the coaching, right? When you
okay.
unmask, we have so many layers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see someone, they're beautiful, but they're secrets.
Mm-hmm.
We hide a lot. We have a lot of layers, a lot of opinions, a lot of different things. We've done things that people suggested we do instead of things we wanted to do for ourselves. So unmasking is really revealing the true you, revealing the authentic you. Now, 5 friends, you think you know everything about each other, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Oh,
Boy, are they in for rude awakenings of how much they don't know about each other, which really takes the night. I mean, everybody that has read this book said, I just sat down and I didn't put it down. I read it to the end because I needed to see what was happening. So yeah, but unmasking is something we all need to do to free ourselves. So each woman, you have to read it just to see her journey. So let me tell you, one of the women, Claudia, is an attorney.
okay.
There's Gertie. She's a first lady of a church.
Mm.
So you get to hear things that they go through as well.
The first lady. Well, when you're first lady, people don't realize it's a lot of
Yes, they go through a lot. Then there's Shauna, who is a divorcee who
okay.
was devastated by her divorce. There's Lola. She's a very young, feisty woman who is married to a sugar daddy, an older man, rich man, very wealthy man. And then there is Miranda, and Miranda is a housewife who went through the foster care system and eventually was adopted. So each woman goes through their truths.
Okay. So then we're gonna step back to your first play that you did where the man gave the testimony.
Yes.
So with you writing and doing all this stuff, like did that you started off doing this in college, university? What did you
No,
know you were
no.
going to do that?
I've never gone to college.
Okay.
I actually had my first child when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
My gift. She is my gift. My life changed for the better with my daughter. And she is my gift. She's my gift from God. And now I have two, a daughter and a son, and I have a bonus daughter also through my husband, Gammon, and we're just a good family.
Bonus daughter. I like that one.
Yeah, my daughter's now 31. Okay, so I didn't go to college, but what I did was I had opportunities to go to college, and my mother wanted me to go to college, and I told her that my daughter was my responsibility. So I went to business school, a trade school.
Okay.
I became a secretary, got my first job at 18, got a very good job. I've always landed very good jobs. And I didn't think about writing. I never set out to write. I wanted to be a doctor at one time, but I never set out to write.
Okay.
It became my outlet, but I didn't know it was also my gift.
Okay.
And my purpose, right? So I didn't know that. And so when I was so stressed about working, I worked, I took care of two children, came home, you stress, you're figuring out bills, you're figuring out what's next, you're figuring out the next day, you're making sure they're not stressed because you're stressed. So it became my outlet, and my outlet became other people's outlet because people begin to see themselves. I learned that one thing about theater and the arts is visual. And sometimes people need to see visual. You always have someone walk up and say, that's my story, or I'm her. And that just lets me know that I'm doing something right, because if I can change one life, or a person can see themselves and figure it out, then I'm doing my job. I'm doing exactly what I was put here to do.
And I guess with those administration skills,
Oh,
that
yes.
helps a lot with that typing. I love to I type too. I did.
Yes. And I always worked for.
Go ahead.
I always worked for C-suite executives like CEOs and COOs. So a lot of work was put on me. I had to multitask all the time. So this is easy for me to multitask, because if I'm not multitasking, I'm just feeling like I'm not moving. I don't have a lot of movement. So.
Well, that's it. When you're in administration, I did that as my major, secretarial science. I did that. And, one of them, then after I went and did law after. But the secretarial science, it teaches you all that stuff. And people don't realize that these CEOs, you are probably doing all the work. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of work, because you have to make sure the meeting, if they're going away, when they're coming back with the mail sorted, look at this, I worked at for high level executives also. And it was just like, geez, you might as well let me sit over there.
Exactly. They didn't know I was answering the emails, right? People send emails, you're answering the emails, and they're like, oh, he sent me such a great email. I'm like, yeah, that's very nice.
Did the fax go through? Well, I don't know. Maybe two of them went. That I knew that was a hell.
Yes.
Those faxes,
that was another baby.
Email.
Oh, yes. That was another baby.
And thank God when they brought in the word processing as opposed to that typing on the actual typewriter.
Exactly.
People,
I love it.
Yeah, we're taking it back now.
Yes, you're taking me back. I'm so glad I'm not there now.
You had to be a technician to fix that typewriter. If that stupid thing wouldn't go, you had to be taking it apart and trying to fix it, because you had to get this letter out.
Exactly. Yeah. You know my life. You know my life.
But a lot of people don't realize, when you take it, then you have to know the measurements and all this other stuff that goes with it. So you make it so it's centered right. It looks right. They didn't have all these editing tools that they had in the software. We had to know it from scratch.
You're right. Yes. Yes. We were the business. We are.
And learning that photocopier and all that other stuff. Photocopy, it wasn't that. It was a carbon copy they used.
That's right. And if you made a mistake, you had to start over.
I know you had to take it out.
Yeah, you had
So
to
you
start
had to
over.
be perfect.
Yes, yes, yes. You know that life.
What you
You
could be at the
definitely know
end
that
and made a
life.
mistake.
Yes,
You're like, oh God, I got to do it again.
yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Now it's
Yeah, I
so
don't miss that
easier.
life. Yeah. So
It's so
now
easy.
it's easy for me.
Go ahead.
What I do is so much easier now.
Yeah, because thank God they brought those things in, the
Yes,
processing, the
yes,
computer, the Microsoft. It was like, geez, only thing we had a problem with was getting used to the mouse. But after we got past that, then we were
yes,
okay.
yes, yes. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
We're
the
on the same
administration,
page.
and you had to talk and type too, because if your boss gave you a letter, you had to
Yeah.
make sure you typing that thing and putting it down. Oh,
Yes, yes.
people don't have nothing. They don't know nothing about that. Woo.
No. And they don't want to. They don't want to.
That was a hard.
They don't want
That
to.
was that was a different skill set altogether. All of that right there.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
All right. I know. Well, you see, because that's what makes you a good writing a book, because it's easy. You just have to make sure you're telling your story, and then all the other stuff. Because a lot of people can't type, and a lot of people don't know how to do administration. So sometimes that is the hard part to do.
Yes. Right, right. And it all comes together. It's using the skills that you have and
Mm-hmm.
skills you didn't think you had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you dive into something, you be amazed of the things that you can do. I'm still amazing myself because I did videos of people for an event called War Women Are Rising, and I did videos of the women to present at the event, and I was like, oh, I could do videography too. I didn't know. And I had to edit the videos, and I was like, okay, I just learned something new.
It's true.
So,
So how did you cast your people for these roles? When you did the movie, you said that you found out after that you paid the people more than
oh
anybody
my
else.
God, they were
They
like,
must have been there on time. They weren't missing a day.
they didn't miss a beat. They didn't miss a rehearsal. They were like, you paid us 3 times. They don't even pay us for some of the plays we do. You came, and when you told us what you were paying, we were like, that entire cast came and worked for me for that play.
They
Yeah.
weren't late. They weren't late. You don't have to looking for so
No.
and so. They were there.
But they were phenomenal. They were phenomenal. So it was my first play. I actually got all working actors and actresses that was what they did, and most of them sang. So it was a musical. I turned it into a musical, and that made it even that much better. And it showed me some things I could do, some gifts I
Right.
had, some talents I had, but I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And my kids were also in my first play. They were
They were in
young,
it
but
too.
I put them in
Wow.
the first play. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So what did they?
yes.
And then they had to act. Then they had to act with you according. So you directed and you did the play.
Yep. Yep. I directed, produced it, and that was me diving into the first time of putting on a play and renting spaces. So I always go and I rent theaters out to put on the play. And I usually rent all the rooms and everything. So we're the only ones there. And then I always invite vendors because I like to support business owners. A lot of people
Okay.
don't have that brick and mortar. You always want to open it up to them so they get more clients. It's all about networking and collaborating, working together to help build one another. So I would always make sure I had vendors.
So you did the it's a theatrical play, so you had to rent out a place to do it, or did you
Yes.
use a church facility, or did you use
No,
somewhere
ma'am.
else?
I actually rented out a theater. I got the insurance. You have to get limited liability insurance. I'm telling you, I did the
Woo!
homework, made sure everything was lined up, and it was amazing. It was an experience. It was an experience.
Wow. And they came and
Now
you
I
must live
have
too.
also done a I did my own marketing. So I was the operations person, the marketing person. the salesperson, because I did my own tickets and the ticket things and all that stuff. And it's, and I was doing the rehearsals and directing. And yes. So I was a one-woman show and putting everything together.
And it came off. So sometimes you have so many people in the thing, and then they're not understanding. Then you have to have a meeting to make sure everybody understands what the vision is. And sometimes it's hard like that. Well, you must have slept for 2 weeks after that.
Right. They don't understand sometimes what you're doing in the background. So, we have an ongoing joke. I do become Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde as we get closer to it. And that's because the people that are coming to see the play, they are spending their money to come see great art, right? So you just want it to be the best, and you want them to get out of it what you put into it, right? And more.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us about the journalist. I guess the journalist, how you stemmed out, right? So tell us about that part of your life.
Okay, so I actually have a second book. I have to lead there. So the second book is a self-help book for women. Check your assets and know your value. A woman's guide to becoming her authentic self. So when I wrote Ladies Night, I was going through notes and I spoke at an event for women, a women's empowerment event about knowing your worth. And I forgot that I had started notes from this event to say, hey, I think this is something every woman should have. So once I published the first book, I found my notes for the second book and said, oh, well, let me just publish this as well. So I published that book, and the journalist part came when I published that book, an online book group. It's called Unboxed. Writer Unboxed asked me to write an article for them. And it was the first article I ever written. And I was like, man, I've never written an article. Okay, I'll try. And when I turned it in, she's like, oh, are you sure you never wrote an article? And they published it. And it was called Are You Happy? Wow. And it was about the journey of me leaving my job March 8th, 2021. And the questions I had to ask myself. And that's what led me on this journey. So from there, the Lansing Journal did a story on me because I left my job, and they entitled it The Great Resignation. And the article was about me leaving corporate America to pursue my passion. So once they wrote the article, they asked me if I would be interested in becoming one of their journalists because they needed some great writers. And I'm like, I've never done journalism. I've never interviewed anyone. So they gave me an assignment to see if I would be a good fit. I went on the assignment, did the interviews, wrote the story. And so far, I think I've written 7 or 8 articles for them now. So I'm permanently there doing all of their business articles.
So when you came up with the ones telling people know your worth.
Yes.
For the women.
Let me tell you, when you really, really, really know your value, you open yourself up to know what you want and what you don't want. And no one can ever devalue you, dismiss you, or deplace you. So it's very important. And what it's about asking yourself the right question so that you know what you've allowed to yourself to do, what you've allowed to happen to you. Not, some things we have no choice. Things happen. It wasn't by our fault. But there are some things that are happening in our lives that we are allowing, right? There are some things that we go along with that we really don't want to go along with. Okay. And there's so much that we do that we don't even add value to ourselves. We give our value away. And that's why we pay so much attention to other people and less attention to ourselves, right? But if it's just like being on a plane, they tell you put the mask on yourself first. If you don't take care of you, you really can't take care of anyone else the way you really want to. Yeah, you're there as a mother, you're doing great. But you could be so much better if you were in a better place, right? For yourself. So when you learning your value, there was a question that I have to go back a little bit. I was working for a great leader at EY. And when I get ready to leave, what do you want? Just tell me what you want. And I couldn't answer that question.
Wow.
I was so used to catering to other people's wants that I did not know what I wanted. That question haunted me for years, for probably 2 years after that. And March 8th of 2021, it really started right before Christmas when I launched the first book, Ladies Night Unmasked. And that question, are you happy with your life? Even though I was the writer of that question came from me for a reason. I wasn't happy where I was in my life. I had to take a different avenue because I was a young mother and I was a single parent. So I had to do what I had to do to support my family.
Right.
But now I'm an empty nester and I haven't done anything for me. And I like writing. I like creating. So I decided to walk away from corporate America. And I did. And I asked myself, what do you want? I wanted freedom. How do you get it? How do you get it? You have to have a plan. What's your plan? I'm going to go down a journey of seeking who I am and learning my value. And as I did that, I gave my notice. My second book came out March 8th, 2021, my last day of work. I'm working on my third book. It will come out March 8th, 2022. The anniversary of me finding myself. And I've gotten so many great reviews and testimonies of know your worth, know your value, check your assets and know your value, because a lot of women said, there was one, she's 68. She said, if I had this book when I was young, honey, my life would have been so different. But it makes you think about yourself. It makes you think about what you want. You know, we always ask the question, who are you? And people say, I'm a teacher. I'm a doctor. I have a degree in this. That's not who you are. Who am I? I'm a woman that loves positive energy. I love being around positive people. I can be vulnerable at sometimes. I'm very wise. I'm beautiful. I'm smart. I'm great at writing. I'm a great creator. But if you ask a lot of women, who are you? They pause and they say, I really don't know the answer to that question. So that's when I did the conference, Women Are Rising and Unmasking their stories. And we had women, some were millionaires. They came and actually talked about their stories.
Wow. Well, I know that people have been watching this interview and they're going to be saying, my goodness, you know, and they're probably thinking now, like, who am I?
Yes.
Not with the credentials, but who am I? You know what I mean? Right. And if you don't know who you are, then how are you going to go to the next level?
Exactly. You know, when I found out who I was, you think you're at the level that you're supposed to be at, right? You think you're there. When I found out who I was, when I really pulled back the layers of everything I had became, I jumped leaps and bounds from who I thought I was. Leaps and bounds. And I have never been as happy as I am now. I am so
this is just recent, and this is just a recent move. You know, people probably thinking, oh, it was maybe years ago. No, this was a recent move. People out there, listen, can't say it's a recent move, 2021.
Yes. In 1 year, I mean, I have never been, I'm telling you, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, you look happy. I feel happy. I am enjoying life. I'm enjoying my family. I'm enjoying conversation. I'm enjoying my friends. I'm enjoying, and then guess what? Some things and people had to fall off, you know, when I found out who I was.
You had to do some gardening.
Yes. Some tailoring.
You're not matching, I had to do some tailoring. Not matching the program, so whoop.
But you know what? Some people can't take the new you, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Some people can't take the new you, and this is really who I am. And even in the book, Check Your Assets, I talk about me being a young girl. I talk about hair, my forehead, my buck teeth. You know, I didn't know I had all those things till I got to school and kids made fun of it. But I learned to embrace this is all part of, I got my buck teeth from my dad. My dad is no longer here, and I celebrate having my teeth like my dad, and my forehead and my hazel eyes from my grandmother. And, you know, I got to start embracing my hair. Hey, if I want to put something over it, I could put something over it. If I don't, I'm comfortable with that too. I can walk and go anywhere. Loving me, self-love is
Whatever you want to
priceless.
be today, whatever you want to be and who you want to be
Whatever.
today, you can do what you want.
Right. I can, you know, I can be a blonde tomorrow, whatever you want to do. As long as you're happy in the skin that you're in, you can
Right.
enhance it. I call it enhancements. You can make enhancements. You just don't need to make drastic changes. You got to love yourself, right? So,
Yep.
yeah.
If you're big, you're fluffy. If you look a little bit this.
Yes. You know, you can always exercise. You can do whatever you want to do, long as you're doing it for you. That's the thing. It's
Well,
a
people,
difference
do you
because
have a
now,
copy of the book that you could show people that
yes,
unmasking? Do you have it there with you?
yes, I do. Let's be
Oh,
unmasked.
it's all the way. Oh, okay. I thought it was an ornament.
That's okay. So if you
Woo!
notice, they're both in silhouettes. So in each book, I just want people to see themselves. I don't want you to see me on it or somebody else. When you read these books, I want you to have you in mind while you're reading the books.
Wow. And it's not a big thick book.
Yeah.
It's an easy reading book.
No, no. Right. Right. I'm a woman of very few words. I just get to the point. It's an easy read, great story, great story for your life. So one is fiction and one is nonfiction.
Okay. So tell us about your life coach part of you now. I guess that's what you're doing now.
Life coaching. Okay. Yes. So I'm doing that too. Life coaching is something I've done all my life. Before there were life coaches, people, there were life coaches, right? There's always that person in the office or always
Mm-hmm.
that family member. I have always been that person that people came to for advice. And I believe I always like to say to guide, right? Because you really have all your answers. It goes back to the book. If you ask yourself the question, sometimes we know what we want to do, we just can't align it, right? Or put it into perspective or
Mm-hmm.
prioritize it or compartmentalize it. So
Mm-hmm.
I have been life coaching before they had life coaches. So so when I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, I've been doing that all my life. I got certified because I wanted to make people comfortable because that's the new thing, certified life coaches. So I've been taking on clients for over a year now, and it's really about helping you get to your authentic self,
Okay.
appreciating who you are, setting boundaries, right, and goals. But sometimes, and this is the way I put it, when we first start, we have to deal with the foundation of who you are, because you can have a house built on strong foundation or rocky foundation. So if the foundation is rocky, we need to fix it. So first let's begin there, and then we'll go to the basement and clean that out, right? So we can keep building so that house and those rooms can be very nourished and very viable in a place that you want to be in. So it's about helping guide the person, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do or do it for you. You do the work, because if you do the work, it's going to be long lasting, right? So I give assignments. We talk through things. Um, we talk about energy and atmospheres and your circles and all of that. And the passions, the things you want to do. A lot of people aren't happy because they're not doing what they truly want to do. And they don't think that there's any other way than the way they're in. But when you can show them, at least guide them through it as they talk, explain the words that they're saying. You just repeat it back to them and you guide them through it. And people, I mean, the stories and testimonies now for that have been so amazing. Matter of fact, I always say, okay, we'll start 6 weeks and then we'll go every 2 weeks, but they don't want to stop. So, so, but
No, I just said, wow.
but they're doing amazing. I mean, people are doing some amazing things. I mean, they're growing in leaps and bounds, and it's all because of them. It's all they just needed someone to help guide them through.
So what do you have?
So
A
I'm loving that as
class?
well.
Do you have a class or do you have it one by one on one?
One by one by one. But I'm about to start doing group sessions.
Okay.
I do in person, and I also do virtual.
Okay. Oh, by virtual.
So
Okay.
if anyone is interested, they can go to my website. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So there's so much to you, Kat, that I'm just like, woo, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's you just have to break it down so that people can understand really what you do. And everything that you do is all the pieces are all connected. Like your
Yes.
book.
It's
Your
all under one
theatrical
umbrella.
plays.
Yes. Right.
And
What I do
you're writing
is I
another book,
motivate
right?
and inspire. Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm writing another book. And the third book will be a book that you're gonna actually, it's like a book of coaching. You're gonna be coaching yourself through. This book is gonna be amazing because it's you talking to you. So it has a lot of questions. A lot of assignments, a lot of anecdotes, a lot of great things for you to really figure out who you are so that you can blossom and be the best person you want to be. Not the best person other people want to be, but the best person you want to be. So I can sum it up. What I do is I motivate and inspire people through my writings, through teaching, through the arts, through plays, through books, right? Through journalism, through coaching. So I am a people's person. I am a woman who people told at the age of 16 when she was pregnant, she's not going to be anybody. She's not going to do anything. That was a lonely place. If it wasn't for my family, my siblings, and my mom and my dad, that was a lonely place to be when you come next to somebody and their parents say, get away from her. That was not a good place to be. And I don't want anybody else to feel that way. And I've always been that person to inspire and motivate somebody else. And 2021 is when I motivated myself, right? When I had to get rid of the guilt of that 16-year-old that didn't feel good enough. When I had to get rid of the guilt of that person that was a single parent of 2 children. When I had to get rid of the guilt of traumatic experiences that I had as a small child. When I had to get rid of the guilt of being on jobs and being told that you're second or you're token or whatever it was. I had to get rid of all of that to know that I came here. I came here to help heal the world. I didn't come here to destroy the world. So now I'm getting to do exactly what I came here to do. And guess what? If it wasn't for some of those experiences, I may not have had too much to talk about. So I experienced life to share life and to help heal the world.
Wow. And you did this yourself, or did you went and healed yourself, or did you do it with somebody helping you?
No, I did it myself through these questions and
Wow.
things you're going to see in the book, Check Your Assets. You're going to know in the third books of how you really can heal yourself. We're told to look externally in everything. I went internally. I began to really ask myself questions. I sat with myself. I forgave myself for things. I forgave other people for things. I saw some things about myself that I didn't like that I needed to change. So I changed those things. I
Mhm.
saw how I may have affected other people's lives. I asked for forgiveness. I had to I had to do the work, right? But I just got to a point where I realized, number one, I asked myself a couple questions. Are you happy? What do you want? And who are you? Ask yourself those 3 questions. Are you happy? What do you want? And who are you? Write it down. That's the first part of your discovery.
Mhm. That's the first part. That's the real part.
That's the real part. That's the real part.
And that's the
And
real
you'll be
part. That's
amazed
when you're going to
how,
get true to yourself.
yes, that's the only time you can see people externally. People can tell you anything. And that's why I always say I guide people, because you have the answers, right? You just got to teach people to go internally and release. Go internal, keep the good, release the bad, and go from there, right?
Mhm.
Um, you have everything you need, but you have to be ready. And I think a lot of us we're at the age that we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of doing the same thing in the same cycles all the time. And there's so much more to you and to me. I'm
Right.
still learning. I'm going to be learning to the day I leave here. But now that I'm getting to know who I am, I really like her. I really do. I really like her.
And then a lot of people find themselves trying to do things for people so they can be liked. And that's
Yes.
like, if you're not doing it to be really doing things to help someone, then don't do it.
Yeah.
If you're looking for
Right.
that, maybe nobody likes me because nobody likes me, and then you figure you're doing all these things, running all these things, and running yourself ragged, doing this, doing that for everybody, and then they don't even care in it. They don't even care about it.
Right. So picture it this way. There's a pitcher in the middle of the table, and it's full, and it's surrounded by all these glasses, right?
Mm-hmm.
The pitcher is poured into every glass. Some of it is poured out till the pitcher is empty. The glasses are not going to pour back into the pitcher. You are the pitcher. So
Okay.
once you're empty, you're empty.
Yeah.
You got to have some left for yourself.
Mm-hmm. You can't keep doing it, because they're only going to be
You can't.
tired and
You
sick.
can't.
And then if you're just doing it for
Right.
for other people to like you,
Right.
then it's no
Right.
sense. You should
Right.
do it for
And you got to remember,
yourself.
you know
Do
what?
it. You do something for somebody, not just to be liked. That you would really like doing it, because some people do that to get that,
Exactly.
so they can get that praise. Oh, this person, she's always
Yes.
there. She's doing this. She's doing that. But are they really happy doing that? Because they're not. Or are they just doing it just to get recognition?
Right. Well, you can't be God to everybody.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep.
God is God for a reason. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you gotta you help to a certain point, but you gotta let them help themselves. Even the people I said that don't let go, they come back, but they're doing their own work. They enjoy the energy, they enjoy the conversations. It's not, oh, help me. No, it's no longer they're helping themselves. I like your energy. I like what you bring. If I talk to you, I
Mm-hmm.
know you're gonna get the truth. I know that you care about me and my well-being. So those are people, when you find people like that, that's the people you want around you, because they're
Mm-hmm.
not there to take anything from you, right?
Right.
And deposits, you have deposits and withdrawals happening, and they should be happening simultaneously. If we're talking like you and I are talking now, I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. We're doing withdrawals
Right.
simultaneously, deposits and withdrawals simultaneously. And if you're the person making all the deposits and they're just withdrawing, it's no good. It's no good.
So
Yeah.
we know we can expect the book. So what more can we expect from Kat?
So more that you can expect is war. So I have a women's empowerment group. We did our first annual women empowerment brunch, and it was going to be a one-time thing, but the women got so much out of it that we are continuing it. And we also have a Facebook group called War Women Are Rising and Unmasking Their Stories. And what we're doing is we've taken women that have had traumatic experiences when they were younger, and they are successful, powerful women now. And they shared their stories, and they were vulnerable, they were open. And at this event, at the end, women at the tables begin to stand up and tell their stories. I mean, we were in there 5 hours because
Mm.
there was not a dry eye in the place. So we are working towards empower women, not just here in person, but we do want this to go worldwide. We do monthly virtual calls where we support, inspire, and motivate each other. So we ask questions, we talk, we laugh, and that's just time for women to come together, not to gossip, but to show love. People say that we don't support each other, but we do at war. We do. So I'm here to help my sister rise.
Good. So where can people find you if they want to find you on, to book you for a coach, or, just go see your stuff?
I have
or
a website.
Yes.
Yes. So both books are on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and wherever books are sold, ebooks and paperback books. Check Your Assets and Know Your Value is also what is the one what is it called? I just got brain freeze.
Amazon.
Audible is an Audible.
Oh, the Audible.
Yes, on Amazon, and you can find. Yes, and you can go to my website, and the links are there, and it's www, and it's my name, .KarenAbbottTrimuel.com. So www.KarenAbbottTrimuel without the hyphen.com. I'm also on Facebook,
easy,
Karen
people.
Abbott
You can go and
Trimuel.
find her very easy.
Very easy. Just you can Google my name. It'll show you everything. It'll show you the articles I've written. It'll show you the articles that have been written about me. There was also an article. I please everybody go look up the article on war, and you will know what the women talked about. You will also get my story. And that is also on my website. Even if you do the Lansing Journal, www.thelansingjournal, the story is there. But go to my website and you'll read that story. You'll know what war is about, and please join us. We would love for anyone, wherever you are, join us. If there's something you're going through, if you need to be inspired, you need to be motivated, you want to hear stories, you want to be joined with women like yourself, and know that you're not alone in anything that you're going through, join war. We are rising, and we're doing it together.
Well, that's a wonderful thing, and that's a wonderful note. But Karen, all good things have to come to an end at some point.
Yes, yes. I really enjoyed this. I enjoy you all. I just love it.
All right. So just stick around. Just don't leave. Stick around after I close out the show. Don't leave. So, anyways, I do want to thank the viewers tonight for watching Real Life Man. I want to thank Karen Abbott Trimuel for all those life journey tips. That's what I'm calling it. Yeah. Because it's not fabricated. These are things that she went through. So if you guys missed the interview, oh well, you can go back and watch it on the YouTube channel, DBoss Networks. You could see that there. So anyways, I'm just telling everybody. So you guys have a great night. So bye for now.